Jerf, we spoke to you about nearly a month ago, 2 days after the events, after the cyclone hit. How are things doing? How are you doing?
Yeah, not quite. It seems surreal. We've got to, with help of community, family, we've got to the point now that we actually have nearly reached ground zero, where we are at a point that we can start to rebuild again. So it's ground up, so we can't start at the top. We have to start at the bottom, and that's silt, drainage, and hardening of tracks, and then we'll be away again from then on.
Can you still believe that it actually happened?
It is a bit of a nightmare, I must admit, but it's a nightmare that you not wake up from. So this is real, but it is what it is, and we just need to make the best of it. And I think it's very important that those who are leading the charge, that they keep their heads up, that they keep their confidence up, and also their mood up, because everybody feeds from that, and we all need to be encouraged to continue to move on. We will come back from this, I'm 100% sure. We had a community meeting yesterday here in Twyford, and that was a really good time, having a meal and a drink together and talking about our stories, but also our plans and dreams for the future.
Now, when it happened, just around us was absolute devastation. Obviously, there's still the remnants of it, but there was thick mud and silt all over the place. And you were quite, it was quite dire, the outlook, and you were saying, basically lost everything kind of thing. Are there some things that are salvageable? These apple trees, for example, are they salvageable?
Yeah, a small amount. We will harvest this block that is behind me. As you can see, there's a large pile of dead trees in a big heap. They, of course, are not salvageable. We don't quite know what to do with that waste problem. We're working on that as we speak. The apples will be picked that are still hanging on the tree above the flood line. So it's important that we give those who still have crop the opportunity to continue to harvest that. It's good for those who are working in the industry, for pack houses, and I've said it before, if we can continue to operate as growers and farmers, it is good for our community. Without it, we just don't have a chance as a community. So we need to step out of the way of those who still have a viable crop to pick. So we don't need to clog up roads with trucks with waste and so forth, although there's urgency there as well.
Because last time you were standing around and standing around in this mud and that, and you were sort of picking things up and moving things and that. Where do you even start with a cleanup like this? How did you prioritize things? What did you do?
Yeah, so what I have learned, and I heard it from others as well, so you make people who you trust, you make them responsible, because during that high stress situation, you cannot make good decisions. And I pride myself of actually being able to manage reasonable well large groups of people, but I just wasn't able to. The stress was just too great. So I made a sort of a council of a couple of people who actually made decisions for me, and that was the best thing we could do. And that's how they could see priorities. They could see the wood through the trees and the forest through the trees, and so they actually made it happen. And slowly, surely, but surely, we were able to actually get some normality going. So sitting around and having a clean place where just we could have a coffee or tea and a piece of cake that was brought in by the community, those were important times for us to get together and have a bit of fun, and in that way rebuild each other. From morning smoko to lunch to afternoon smoko to a beer at the end of the day. So we just made it fun, and they made the difficult decisions easy for us.